For 3 days. 3 days, Dr. Watson. Neither food nor drink has passed his lips.
And he refused a doctor?
Simply wouldn't have it, and you know how masterful he is.
Yeah.
I didn't dare disobey him.
I understand, Mrs. Hudson. Is there any more you can tell me before we get there?
Very little. He took to his bed on Wednesday afternoon, and he hasn't moved since.
And before then? Any clue as to what brought this on?
All I know is he's been working on a case down at Rotherhithe, an alley near the river, and now he's so wasted the bones are sticking out of his face.
Good God. Why didn't he send for me?
Heaven knows. He'd only agree even to that when I wouldn't stand it any more. With your leave or without it, I said, I'm going for a doctor this minute.
Good for you.
Then let it be Watson, he said, and thank God you were free to come at once, sir.
Well, of course I would be.
Because he's sinking. All these 3 days he's been sinking.
Oh, Holmes is stronger than any man I've met.
He's dying, sir. Mr. Holmes is dying.
The Dying Detective by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Dramatized for radio by Robert Forrest. With Clive Merrison as Sherlock Holmes and Michael Williams as Dr. John Watson. And featuring Edward Petherbridge as Culverton Smith and Alex Jennings as Victor Savage. The Dying Detective.
Well, Watson, we seem to have fallen on evil days.
My dear fellow.
Don't I look evil? These hands, I can't stop their cursed twitching, as if they itch to get hold of a throat. Now stand back. Stand right back.
Holmes?
If you approach me, Watson, I shall order you out of the house.
What?
Now closer. No closer. Not an inch, not 1 inch, or out you go.
Holmes, you are ill. Clearly, you are very ill. And I am a doctor and your friend.
Yes, but what manner of doctor?
I beg your pardon?
What do you know of Tapanuli fever, eh? What do you know of the Black Formosa corruption?
I've never heard of either, but that doesn't mean I
There you
don't.
are, there. A friend is a friend, but facts are facts. And it's unquestionably a fact that you are only a general practitioner with very little experience and mediocre qualifications.
Such a remark is unworthy of you. It shows only the state of your nerves.
It does pain me to say these things, but you leave me no choice.
Very well, then. If you have no confidence in me, let me call in Sir Jasper Meek or Penrose Fisher, any of the best men in London.
There's only one man in London knows more than I. What I have is a coolie disease from Sumatra, of which only this is certain. It is infallibly deadly, and it is horribly contagious by touch. Watson, contagious by touch. You keep your distance, and all is well.
Can you imagine for a moment that risk would matter to me? It wouldn't keep me from my duty in the case of a stranger. And my qualifications as your friend are surely not in any doubt. One man in London. Of course, Dr. Ainstree, the greatest living authority on tropical disease. He's in London all this week. And now I'm going to fetch him.
Watson,
With or without your leave. I may always in the past have deferred to your wishes, even when I've least understood them.
Watson.
But you are ill, and I am a doctor. Whatever you think of it... Good God.
Now, firstly, Ainstree is not the man.
Holmes, you are...
Secondly, you shall not leave this room before 6 o'clock.
Do you expect me to believe?
Oh, perhaps not. But I might shoot myself, or any poor fool who comes bungling through the door. Yeah, best to lock it just in case. With this infernal trembling and twitching, and the revolver so heavy, who knows when it might go off? Yes, where the bullet might fly. Now lock the door. Do it, my friend. Good. Now, throw the key onto my bed. Oh dear, you're the poorest shot as I might be today. Now do sit down, old man. That's a good fellow. Now, it's 4 o'clock now. At 6, you may go and fetch our man.
This is insanity.
So it is. But it must be endured for 2 hours. If you wish, you may read. But I would be obliged if you'd refrain from smoking. unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul to down thy knotted and combined. Combined, yes, combined locks to, yes, each particular hair to stand. Put that down! The box, put it down!
I was merely admiring it, Holmes. The carving of the ivory, so
Leave
delicately
my things
done.
alone. They're mine. They're mine. They're dangerous. Contagious, Watson, contagious. By touch. Don't you listen?
Yes, I listen. I hear the irrational ramblings you spout, and my professional instinct and my regard for you
In an
are...
agony of impatience?
Yes.
Yes, but you won't take the key from me by force, will you? Forgive me, old chap. Let's talk of other things.
Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah, this is an admirable woman. But surely not sufficiently fascinating to be the subject of our conversation.
Well, let me call her. Let us at least try to have you eat something, or a drink.
Yes, she is, I admit, with me as her tenant, a long-suffering woman. I freely confess I'm not tidy. My chemical experiments, though they've been of remarkable benefit to the science of deduction, are often malodorous.
And there is your occasional indoor revolver practice.
Oh, indeed, yes, you must bear in mind the revolver.
Yes, the good woman must often feel uncomfortable here, with celebrated criminals staring at her from every wall. Embezzlers, kidnappers, stranglers.
Poisoners.
These are only portraits. Sometimes she is face to face with the real thing.
Yes, on the other hand, my payments are not niggardly.
Oh, I understand they're princely.
I dislike and distrust her sex, but I think you'll admit that I've always been a chivalrous opponent.
Yeah.
Yes, whereas I would be a callous exterminator of oysters, of whatever gender.
Oysters?
Yes, vile creatures, yes, vile and wantonly prolific. Yes, but then no doubt there are natural enemies which limit their increase, and you, Watson, who never did fail me, you and I, yes, we've done our part. No, the world, I'm almost sure, will not be overrun by oysters. It's horrible, thought, it's horrible.
Holmes, I cannot bear this. You must let me go for this doctrine of yours.
What time is it?
5:15.
Then you must bear it for 45 minutes more. Then you may fetch Mr. Culverton Smith.
I never heard the name. Who is he?
He lives at 13 Lower Burke Street.
And?
And what?
What is he? What's his specialty?
Rubber, for the most part, and oil, coffee and tea.
Rubber?
Yes, and pepper. I forgot the pepper.
Holmes.
Yes, I must say I'm surprised you haven't heard of him. Yes, he's one of the best-known residents of Sumatra.
Sumatra?
Yes, in the East, Watson. There are many problems of disease, many strange pathological possibilities. I learnt a lot during some recent researches which had a medico-criminal aspect. Yes, in fact, it was in the course of them that I contracted this complaint.
And Culverton Smith, he can help you?
An outbreak of something very similar wiped out half his labour force. He's a planter, you see. Yes, his plantation is distant from any advanced medical aid, so he studied the subject himself.
Be clear now. You do sincerely believe he can help you?
His knowledge of my condition, I assure you, is unique. It has been his dearest hobby. And he's not even Dutch. He is, however, most methodical. You won't find him at home before 6. Yes, your sentence won't last too many minutes more. Yes, I would suggest a game of chess or cards. Yes, but the risk would be too great. Yes, charades, perhaps. Yes, let me see. Yes, let me see the good Dr. cavort in charades. Yes? But if the answer's an oyster... Oh, the Froddick's waved.
Holmes. Holmes. It is 5 minutes to 6. May I go for Smith now?
Yes, son.
It will take me till a good bit after 6 to get there.
What will you tell him?
That you need him immediately.
And how you left me? What will be your informed medical opinion on that?
That you are ill, critically so.
Critical, yes. Would you please light the gas for me, but only halfway. Carefully, be very, very, very careful, Watson. My eyes can't bear it more than halfway on. There's another symptom, perhaps. Oh, think of the miles and miles of pipe laid to bring so much gas all this way, merely to half-illuminate a dying detective. What dauntingly complex things are life, public utilities, and Sumatran fevers. Now, don't draw the blind. No. Oh, well done. Oh, what a friend you are.
Is there anything else you need? Shall I send Mrs. Hudson up as I leave?
You will have the kindness to place here, on this table, within my reach, those letters on the mantelpiece. Use the sugar tongs.
Sugar tongs?
Contagion, Watson. Use the tongs. Apply the same care as you did to your admirably precise setting of the gas line. Now, I shall clear a space by putting my revolver under my pillow. That's it. Well done. Now, that ivory box, whose delicate carving you so admired, bring it here too. So I may amuse myself by deciphering its symbols. Good. Now you will persuade him to come, Watson. Culverton Smith of 13 Lower Perk Street.
Whatever it takes, he'll be here.
Yes, beg him, pray him, bribe him, anything. Then hurry back here, when I shall issue what may be my last requests and instructions to you. You will be back before him.
If you insist.
I insist. You know I always insist on proper attention to every detail. Just as I insist you adopt a proper stance for your task.
What stance?
Have you any change in your pocket?
Yes.
Yeah? Silver?
Some.
How many half-crowns?
5.
Better with more. However, we must work with what we have. Put them in your watch pocket and the rest in your trouser pocket. No, the left one, man. There. Yes. That balances you more pleasingly. Now. Dawdle, no more. Take the key you so contemptuously threw on my clean cover letter, and be off with you.
I'm sure you did all you could for him, sir.
He let me do next to nothing.
For 2 hours?
Yes. And now I'm to fetch some amateur specialist he knows.
We have to try everything we can.
Yes, I suppose so. Let's pray there's a cab at hand.
Good evening, Dr. Watson. Mrs. Hudson.
Inspector Morton?
Mr. Holmes is in, I see.
Yes,
I
but-
see by the light he's in.
He's unwell.
I did hear that.
And seeing no one.
Oh, well, perhaps later.
No, not tonight, Inspector. He is very ill.
Oh, dear. And you're on your way to find his cure.
Yes, I hope so. And I must hurry. There's a cab. Goodbye.
Bye, Doctor. Good luck.
Would you care to come in for tea, Inspector Morton?
No, thank you, Mrs. Hudson. On duty. On important duty. Athletic tonight, the doctor. Look at him run.
Dr. John Watson, MD. Never heard of the man.
Dr. Watson apologises for arriving without appointment, but says that time is of the essence.
You know, I'm not to be disturbed in the hours of my study.
Indeed, sir, but the gentleman does appear to be in a state of extreme...
You can see me in the morning if you really must.
Forgive me, sir, but he did lay particular stress on the urgency of his business. Life and death were his very words.
My work may save thousands of lives, Staples. I must not be hindered.
No, sir.
And give him my message. I'm not at home.
Very good.
Tell this intrusive doctor to return in the morning if his business requires it.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Smith, but my business cannot wait till morning.
How dare you, sir? How dare you barge into my house uninvited?
I am truly sorry, but this is a matter of life and death. I have a friend within perhaps hours of... Mr. Smith.
You are the doctor, not I.
Yes, but unlike you, I am no expert on Eastern diseases. And it is such a disease that looks set to take the life of Sherlock Holmes.
Of course, Dr. Watson. Forgive me, Doctor. I was so engrossed in my studies, the name didn't... you may go, Staples.
Thank you, sir.
Won't you sit down, Dr. Watson?
No, thank you. It is Mr. Holmes' fervent wish that you visit him tonight. Within the hour, I beg of you.
I know Mr. Holmes only by reputation, and of course I have every respect for his talent and character, but what can have brought my obscure name to his attention?
He considers you the one man in London who can help him.